and welcome to this week's virtual Card and a Cuppa with me, Fiona Whitten. What was I going to say? God, yeah, my mind today is just absolutely, I don't know, I've no idea where it's gone. Memory's like a sieve, but hey. So yes, Card and a Cuppa today, so virtual Card and a Cuppa this afternoon. So this is the second one for November 2024. So we've only got the two in December before Christmas and New Year. But yes, today is going to be a snowflake day. So please bear with me for a second. I just need to double check that this is actually going out live. I'm pretty certain it is, but you can never tell with this. And it looks like it is. Yes, jolly good. Right, okay. So today's kit was or is snowflakes. This is basically the kit that everybody had. So it was an envelope, a Night of Navy card base. So it's A4 cut in half, the other half being there. So this is 14.9 by 21 and then scored 10.5. You don't need to take the dimension down because I always post those in the description on YouTube, because this will get uploaded to YouTube tomorrow. There's a piece of Balmy Blue which will sit as a panel on the front, a piece of basic white so that you've got somewhere to write to whoever it is you're sending the card to. Then there is this rather lovely die cut. Now this comes from the Frozen Edges bundle. It's slightly bigger than a card front. Well, actually no, it's exactly the right size for a card front, but it's slightly too big for the panel on the front. And when you die cut it out, sometimes you need to poke out some of the bits, but you don't poke out as much as you think you do, that you need to. So the actual die comes from the Frozen Edges bundle, as I said. And in the dies there are, so this is the one that I use to cut the that intricate snowflakes. Then there are a couple of, actually there's 3 snowflakes. This is to cut around a snowflake image, and then this one you can use that so you can make icicles, or you can stamp and then I was going to say die cut it, but I don't think you can. It's not exactly identical, but you could lay it over the top. And then the stamps, you have this larger stamp which has all these snowflakes on a single snowflake, so the icicles, and then 3 sentiments. Now I didn't actually use any of these sentiments for the Card and a Cuppa because we were stamping on a small, I think it was a 1.5 inch circle which I had punched out. There were also some rhinestones, so there was 3 rhinestones, and then 2 Night of Navy snowflakes. So they have been die cut out using the Frozen Edges bundle. So that was the kit. I also took with me the Greetings of the Season stamp set, and also the Peaceful Season stamp set, so that people had a choice of sentiments that they wanted to use. Had to stick with the smaller ones, so that on here the option was that hoping this season is bright and beautiful, peace and joy. On here, put together Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas, or you can, there's a love and joy here as well. So I took those with me so that everybody had a choice of what sentiment they wanted to use. And again, this month we forgot about birthdays. We decided we were going to just do Christmas cards. So you probably want to see the cards that I've made. So this was the first one. So I used Balmy Blue ink to stamp that larger image. So it's this image all over the piece of Balmy Blue cardstock. So it's a tone on tone technique. Glued the snowflakes on, trimmed it off, and then glued it to the card front. Stamped a sentiment in Night of Navy, added that, and then added the 2 snowflakes. So that was a very simple card where we used everything, and then again I used the Balmy Blue larger snowflake stamp to stamp on that, and on, actually no, those, and that's the individual snowflake, so it's this particular one. So that was the first card. The second card, I turned the card around, so rather than making a portrait card, made a landscape card. Pretty much the same principles as the first card, so stamped snowflakes in Balmy Blue all over the Balmy Blue piece of cardstock. Glued the snowflakes on, so that white piece there is that one of the bits that should have popped out, but obviously I must have used that as a bit to stick this on. I'm not even going to try to actually take that out. Use the Balmy Blue and the individual stamp to stamp on the circle, and then use Night of Navy to stamp the sentiment. Rhinestones, didn't actually add the snowflakes, I don't know why, but hey, I suspect I've got them in my box still, so maybe I will add them later. And then just use the individual snowflakes to stamp on a corner. And I know what happened here, because I stamped it thinking I was making a portrait card, and then realised actually no, I'm making a landscape card. But it doesn't matter, I've just stamped something, it's fine there. It doesn't really matter that it's there rather than there. Could have stamped all the way around, but it's really up to you as to how you decorate the inside of your card. And then again, the individual snowflake stamp on the front and one on the back. So that was that one. Third card involved a bit of cutting of the actual Balmy Blue. So I cut it into a square, which I do have a ruler here because I forgot to measure how much it was. It's 8.5 by 8.5 centimetres. So that's that. So, and then I simply added the snowflake at the top and again trimmed. So I did have some bits left that I could use on another card. This Merry Christmas was made up of sentiments from the greetings of the season, and this piece of cardstock is simply a bit that was left over from having cut that square. And then add the snowflakes, and again this time it's got Night of Navy snowflakes on the inside and on the envelope. So those were the 3 cards. So I have my kit, and I have already decided what I'm going to do, which is kind of a similar version to the one like this, but instead of making a square, I'm going to use it as a rectangle and put this at the top and the bottom. So I did measure this, and I work in centimetres. It's virtually 15 centimetres across. So I need to cut it at 7.5. Because it's quite intricate, I'm actually going to use a guillotine. This is just one that was part of Celebration a while back, and I managed to get my hands on one. So I'm just going to go through this bit because I don't really, actually, I'm going to use that, and then I'm going to, and it's inevitable that you might lose some of the snowflakes. So I'm going to have to use my scissors. I didn't want to chop off that portion of the snowflake. So let's just use scissors just to make sure. Like that. So I've got one piece which I fit together, and I've got another piece. Now that was cut at 7.5, so I know I now need to cut this at 7.5. And actually I'm going to use my popper trimmer for this. And I want to keep the same border going around the Night of Navy. So I worked out in advance I need to cut this at 7.5 by 11.9, and that should give me a piece of Balmy Blue, which when I add to the card front will give me the same border all the way around. And lo and behold, it does. So that's good. And that's all the cutting I need to do. So it's just this piece of Balmy Blue that I needed to cut. Now I'm going to stamp all over this Balmy Blue in Balmy Blue ink. So I'm going to use this stamp. And in fact, really I don't need to do top and bottom, but I am going to anyway, just to make sure. If you can see any of it through, then that's fine. And when you do it, if you turn your stamp around or turn your paper, just to make sure that you've not actually stamped the pattern in exactly the same place. So, because I wouldn't want to have this big one, that big one, with another big one in the middle there. So I'm going to turn that around so that I've got a different snowflake there. And if you think you've got an edge that you want something, then just, again, just ink up and stamp on the edge, just so that you know then that all of it is covered. I think that's okay, so I'm going to leave it like that. Now I'm going to have a piece of the snowflake at the top. Now I thought I had measured this, but obviously not. That one's pretty perfect, and that one's not quite so perfect. But hey, in fact, if I do it that way, maybe I'll just trim it down a slither. I think a millimetre or two is not really going to make too much of a difference. It's just enough. Oops, there we go. That can go in the bin. Hopefully now that will go. Let's close that as well so I don't end up putting my hand in it. So that's going to go on here. That's going to go on there. Like that, and then I've got enough space here still to put the sentiment, which is very rough. I don't know what happened there. I think I must have used a bit of scrap or something. Let's see if I can find another kit. There's another circle in. Oh well, you know what, I shall use that. Hide it with various things. So that's that. I'm going to stamp on that again with that same stamp that I used on the front on that Balmy Blue. So I'm going to stamp it in Balmy Blue. Now if you want it really faint, you can stamp off. But the Night of Navy is so dark, I'm not too worried about that. So I'm going to just leave it as the full-on Balmy Blue. Now this Merry Christmas is not going to fit, so but I do have a Wishing You, so I'm going to put that in the middle there. I'm trying to get it so that it goes across the middle. It doesn't matter so much if you think it's wonky, because this is a circle, so you can turn it so that it is eventually straight. I am going to stamp my inside of the card, and I'm also going to stamp my envelope. And again, you can go mad with this. This time I'm going to use actually the same big stamp, but I'm going to do it night and navy, so that will be a nice contrast against the Balmy Blue. Actually, no, it's night and navy, isn't it? The card base, but hey, so that'll be fine. So that can be that. So that's that. But the envelope, I'm just going to use the single snowflake. And I'm going to put one on the back for good measure. Roughly in the middle. So that is that. And then the other thing that I wanted to do on this was to add a sentiment. So I'm going to put, so that's going to be the front, so it's wishing you, and then I'm going to put a Merry Christmas on the inside as well. Now the question is, do I do that in night and navy or do I do that in Balmy Blue? I think we'll go for Balmy Blue. If I don't like it, I can simply turn the cardstock over and just restamp the snowflakes and the sentiment. So put that across the middle. So snowflakes is quite appropriate because here in the UK we've actually had snow. Nothing down south, or I lie. It tried to snow yesterday, so we had sleet and snow, but nothing settled because it's been so wet that yeah, we didn't even have slush. It just melted as it hit the ground. Glue. Where's my glue? Really? Okay, I don't know where my glue is, so I'm going to use my tear tape because I don't really want to have to get up. Ordinarily, I wouldn't use tear tape to put this inside a card, but needs must. I know some people prefer to use tape runner or whatever. So I'm just going to use that. Oops. Off. Just using my paper snips quickly to get these bits off. It's nowhere near as bad as trying to get that awful red tape, which I do use on occasions, but I always have a fight with it, trying to get the backing off. So I'm going to leave this like so. That's that. So that's the inside of my card done. So now I need to do this. Now I could put some dimensionals underneath it or just glue it on. Dimensionals you'll see through the holes, that's the only problem. So it looks like I might need to go find that glue after all. Oh, I know where there is some. I've got my Card A Cuppa bag right next to me, so there is glue in that. That saves me having to get up and walk around the craft room. So you need to be careful where you put the glue on here. I would suggest that things like the centre of things, and you just need to dot it very gently. You don't need tons. Somehow I seem to manage to get a huge one there, which I don't really want, but hey. So just little dots around it. Oh, let's take that off. Put that on the corner there and fold it over. So that can go up here. Like so. So this was the bit that I didn't want to cut off. I'm going to leave it on there. I think, oops, crumbs. I didn't even squeeze this, I just simply just turned it upside down to put some on. Oh well, hey. I'll do it, and again I'll have to take that off because I really don't want that, all that on there. It just shows you how quickly it dries. And we'll put this on. So this can go on the bottom. That's not even gone on straight. Typical. Oops. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my trimmer and I'm going to cut that bit. That bit. Just so that it takes that edge off. So I don't really want to see blue there. So it quite happily goes through 2 layers. I'm going to take that bit off now because I've decided I don't really want it. There we go. So that's going to go on the card front, like so. We've got a wishing you, so that could go on there. We have the 2 darker Night of Navy snowflakes. Just need to decide where I want to put them. So that's going to go on dimensionals, which I have just put in order for some more because I only have minis at the moment, which is okay, except for the fact that I'm afraid you're going to have to sit here and watch whilst I put these little ones on and then peel all the backings off. In fact, I don't know that I am going to put it dead straight in the middle. I think I might go there. And then I've got a snowflake. This is, oops, quite handy to go on here. Fits perfectly. I'm going to put that one. I need to put double height, I think. Oh, come on. And because I'm putting double height on this, I'm not going to. I was thinking about putting that on dimensionals, but I don't think I will. So that could go on there. This can have double height as well. I don't know where I'm going to put it. There we go. And then I have my 3 rhinestones to use. I just need my take your picture. I need the putty end. Now I've got 2 larger rhinestones and a small one, so I'm going to use, the larger ones. She says she's got a small one, it's just slid off. I'm going to use these in the centre of the snowflake. And that one. And then that can go, if I can get that off there, can go on here. So I'll just put it on here, like so. See, I do quite like that going up on dimensionals, but I don't think I will. I just realised that that's got a bit of blue showing as well. I can end up trimming this forever and a day so that it's perfect. I know, it's a handmade card. And although we always aim for perfection, we do occasionally miss it. But as I said, it's a handmade card. It's made with love. So how are you guys getting on with your Christmas card making? I've got to get these finished and then into the post so that I can send them second class. Really don't want to be sending them first class this year, seeing as they put the postage up. And you try and put that on there, that's not the right place. Okay. So that is that card finished. So it was pretty quick to make. Where did I put the envelope? There's the envelope. So that's today's card, or this afternoon's card. And then these are the 3 that went to Card A Cuppa this morning. Like so. Actually, I'm going to take the envelope out of there. So they, don't know, can you see them? I'm trying to sort of fit them all on. It's always difficult to tell. But anyway, so those are them. Those are the 4 cards. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Next week we have a stamping and creating day. And then, yes, so next week, and then the week after that will be the first Card A Cuppa in November, in December even. Crumbs, this is just getting scarily quick this year. We've only now got sort of a month and a bit left, but hey, never mind. Okay, so that's all my cards I have to share with you. Have a good week, and I hope you can spend some time with me next week. Bye.